I don't know if you might have heard of this story, Nuria. Do you remember this woman? Her name is Ruby Begum. This lady, um, she works for the Met Police,
Uh-huh.
and like how Muslims love it. Everyone loves it as long as it's about your enemies. People love to dig up dirt from your distant past. So so she'd been working for the Met Police for the last, I don't know, couple of years or something. But some people found out this photo was taken back in the COVID days or something. So, I don't know why someone was compelled to look into her past just because he is wearing a hijab. So they might be coming from a bigoted position. But, this is why they say that you should never have skeletons in your closet for your enemies to exploit. So they dig up some dirt on her, and they found out that she used to insult Jews, and she was sympathetic towards this female jihadi in Syria who left Europe in 2014. I think maybe they're talking about Shamima Begum, I think.
So she's basically a good Muslim.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want to see it that way. So finally, there was all this hoo-ha a couple of years ago. It started once this video went viral. And then Met Police started investigating, and fair enough, they should do it. But this is why we say that you need to apply your rules and standards equally across the board. Otherwise, it's just one-sided, arbitrary justice, and that never makes sense. So anyway, all of this happened a couple of years ago. Now the Met Police have concluded their investigations, and now they have sacked her. So female police officer who tweeted racist messages and was in regular contact with a suspected female jihadi in Syria is suspended. Sorry, suspended, not sacked, suspended. So Ruby Begum used Twitter to mock Jews and 9/11 before joining the police force. She frequently used the offensive term kuffar to describe non-believers. Now, this is quite interesting, Nuria. Muslims proudly use the word kuffar, murtads for people like you and me, which is, we don't take it as an insult, but obviously other believers do. They're like, hang on a second, why are you calling us kuffar? You are kuffar according to us.
But we should also take it as that, because it is a pejorative, it is a slur.
Exactly. Yeah, because we know where it's coming from. It's coming from a very hateful position that you blind, dumb, and deaf, you idiots, you don't know what the ultimate truth is, etc.
Yeah.
So anyway,
belittling as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bigoted term, plain and simple.
Completely.
Just like we use the word Muslim. Like imagine I started using the word Muzi. I'm just obviously I don't use it, even though we, being people from that community, we could. Here's the thing, and I think I've become a big believer of that too, and I want your input on that. What do you think? And I've been thinking a lot about it because I get attacked even though I try to follow the universal logic that if something is wrong, you should go after it, regardless of the race or ideological beliefs or whatever tribe one might belong to. Because if you believe in the tribe of humanism, we're all humans, we're all equal. So if I see something wrong in the Aboriginal culture, I should point it out. If I believe something is wrong in the Islamic community or Muslim community, I should talk about it. Same for Hindus and Jews. But that's how it should be. But we've learned that if we talk about our own community, everyone is like, well done, you're a champion, you're very brave, hero. But when we apply the same logic on other tribes, so to speak, they don't like it. They hate you. They start hating you. They start canceling you. They all start acting like just as ruthless as Muslims would be. And Muslims' accusations on us don't stick because we look like them. Not quite, but well, maybe a little bit. But but we also are their own children. I mean, like they're ex-Muslims, probably in every Muslim household now, or not every, in a lot of Muslim households. So they're like, okay, what do we do? So what do you think? You think should we go back a little bit and just say, okay, you know what? it's too messy for me to talk about Hindus, or it's too messy for me to talk about Jews and Christians. I'm just going to focus on my own community. What do you think? You think should it be like that?
I mean, to be honest, I think everybody has a slightly different mission and with their activism anyway, so it depends what you're doing. But when you leave Islam and you take on the more humanistic approach anyway, and you fall into the fold of being an atheist or being a humanist, it naturally, it just by virtue of what you're doing, you have to call out a spade that's also a spade where you see it. You can't just turn a blind eye to it. But for me, I genuinely think that the biggest threat still is Islam and what Islam does to women and humanity. So that's my focus in general. But what I wanted to say is, I think, for example, even with the Muslim community, like before, it was a lot of the Christian apologists that would attack Islam and back and forth. And so they're so used to kind of suppressing the debates that they had with these apologists, say, over the last 20 years. But it was never as much of a threat because it was an outside group attacking another outside group. But now, when their own people are rising up from within and attacking the group, I think that's a lot more dangerous. And that's why we're seeing the rise of things like the anti-apostasy squad and imams actually freaking out and saying we are losing so many of our people to apostasy. And this momentum, I think, is something that needs to be challenged from the inside within. It needs to break from that. And I think Christianity did that in its own way. But this movement needs to, so my focus is here, obviously, because also I'm not a person that likes to talk about something that I don't know much about. But as you say, like with the Hindutva, it's clearly a fascist far-right ideology. It is no different from like militant Islamism. It's just a matter of it being weaponized and then the violence ensuing. So you have to be able to call those things out if you want to call yourself a true, real activist, for sure. But in terms of like using things like the word muzi or anything to piss off our own people even more, I think that's a bit unproductive, and I wouldn't do anything that would make them have even less chance of hearing me out. But I think the more damage we can do is definitely from within.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think we have a better chance of succeeding if we just focus on our own communities. But there's an inside voice that you say, you know, like, I mean, why should I not highlight Hindutva issues? You know, because should I just back away just because these attacks that just come from that? And it's a part of my nature as well. Like, I mean, if someone, you know, says, okay, well, I'm going to take you on, then I say, okay, well, so be it. But I think, but with a cooler head, though, I do think that is, it is probably strategically not a wise move, because, you know, you just lose audience. But again, then the question is, well, so be it if you're losing that kind of audience. You don't want, from day one, we've been very clear that we don't want the support of far-right white supremacist or far-right Hindutva gangs, etc. So anyway, so going back to
sorry, if you did stop speaking out against something that was genuinely wrong because you're getting attacked or these people are coming after you online or, you know, whatever, then it's like, why would you even ever have started speaking out against Islam?
Exactly. So, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so going back to this, so the term kuffar, the muzi I was talking about, but my whole point was that I could use the word, okay, maybe I couldn't say the word muzi for Muslims, but I could say that about myself. I'm an ex-muzi. You know, that's me. I'm talking about myself. So what are you going to do? But anyway, but I get the point. I mean, the more we try to be neutral and balanced in our approach, the better it is. But you know, but we are humans. We're dealing with people like Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawahs who you know, who openly issue veiled threats, and they get away with it. So then you say, why can't, you know, like, what, you know, why don't I speak in their own language? But anyway, I think it's just it's a double-edged sword, I guess. But so here she's saying
better than that.
Yeah, I know we say that, but you know, sometimes we want to get down and dirty with these people. Like, all right, mate.
Set up a boxing match or something, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm not having a boxing match.
Don't do that with him.
Not with Muhammad Hijab. Not with Muhammad Hijab. Ali Dawah, yeah, probably, but not with Muhammad Hijab.
Yeah, he'll be too busy eating grapes on the side anyway between each round.
Muhammad Hijab is he's an animal. It's too big. Well, if he drops to my weight division, then I might prepare, but and that's not going to happen. He'll become a stick if he drops to my weight, which is about, I don't know, it used to be 85 kilos, but I don't know what it is now. But anyway, so Ruby Begum, 27, was hailed an inspirational role model. Look at it, what a charlatan. After footage showing her bravely confronting anti-lockdown protesters while wearing a hijab went viral 2 years ago. So these people go like, hey, Ruby Begum, yeah, hijab empowers women. Look at this. She's fighting against anti-lockdown. I'm like, okay, you know me. I'm against anti-lockdown people as well.
I don't get that, though. I literally do not get the significance of that entire sentence. Like, what's the point? What are we cheering here?
No, but because, you know, the far left wants to go with this agenda of hijab empowers women.
Yeah, but so how ridiculous is that? Like, there were so many other police officers there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. What about all these other women?
Isn't that positive discrimination highlighting that she was there with hijab? Like,
but it's also an insult to all these other women who are not wearing
exactly.
hijab,
well, because I'm not wearing hijab, I was less empowered when I did the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm speaking on behalf of the fellow other policewomen there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let me bring up the photo again. That photo again. It's like, excuse me. So are you saying that this woman is not empowered?
Exactly.
This woman is not empowered.
Exactly.
She's not. And this woman, the culture that puts women or forces women to wear hijabs or socially indoctrinates women to wear hijabs or burqas or whatever. Look at those cultures. Iran. Show us the empowered women in Iran. Show us the empowered women in Afghanistan. Show us that. This is that mentality, this woman's mentality and this man's mentality, not individually, but this culture's mentality that allows people to even turn up like this, which is fair enough. You can wear whatever you want.
Where is her mask? Actually, I'm a bit
concerned. Exactly. Yeah. Yes, I remember that became one of the talking points as well when this photo went viral. Why is she not wearing a mask?
Why is she not following rules?
Exactly. So again, so that just shows the hypocrisy of the left, and it's so stupid from all angles. But anyway, but in the months before joining the Met Police in 2016, she used Twitter to insult Jews and mocked the 9/11 attacks. So she frequently used the offensive term, you kuffar, you kuffar. So basically all these people are kuffar in her eyes to describe non-believers, writing in July 2014, kuffar lips have been all over my mug. There is no way I'm using that thing again. Oh my goodness. So this is like Asya Bibi thing, like, oh, these dirty, filthy people have touched my... They drank from my cup. Basically, those of you who don't know, Asya Bibi was a Christian woman in Pakistan who was arrested for blasphemy, spent 9 years. There was one politician, Salman Taseer, who spoke in her favor. He was a governor of Punjab, Pakistan's largest province. He was killed by his own bodyguard because he sided with this Asya Bibi, with this Christian woman who was arrested for blasphemy. And her charge was she had touched the cup of a Muslim woman. And apparently that's a big thing. And you can see, even in this case, this is a common mentality amongst Muslims. Not all, not all Muslims, but a lot of them. There's no way I'm using that thing again. So elsewhere, she described Pakistanis as, oh, wow, she's a Bangladeshi, and she called us Pakis.
I know.
Now, again, like, I'm sorry if that term is offensive to people, Pakistani people in Britain. It's not offensive in Australia, in America, in Canada, in other countries. Even in Pakistan, the term is not offensive. We call ourselves Pakis. So I'm sorry if it's offensive to my fellow Pakistanis in Britain. I'm sorry. You're not going to dictate what I can and can't say. I know even you flinch a little bit when I say, because you guys have a different baggage of that term. But yeah, so anyway, so I mean, just for courtesy, I mean, because there's a lot of asterisks. So I thought, people wouldn't know what they're talking about. So I had to mention that.
Yeah, sure. All right.
So no, a lot of Americans don't know. After being alerted by this newspaper, the Met referred the matter to the Independent Office for Police Conduct, and Miss Begum was placed on restricted duties. Oh, her party was over. Following an investigation, the Met said yesterday that she had a case to answer for gross misconduct. She now faces a hearing on a date to be determined. On 9th of August 2022, she was suspended from duty.
My birthday.
So Miss Begum communicated over many months with a woman thought to have fled Europe in 2014 to live under the Islamic State so-called caliphate. I want to know who this woman is. I think it's Shamima Begum. But anyway, there were quite a few of them. The woman would later acquire notoriety for appearing to defend male terrorists, use of minority group Yazidis as sex slaves. Yeah, that's definitely Shamima Begum. Without offering explanation, Ms. Begum wrote around this time that her
maybe
own
those
passport.
two incidents are unrelated, Horace.
No, but she did make excuses for Yazidis as sex slaves.
Yeah, but those are two separate incidents. Like she was in communication with a woman who joined ISIS, and then she also.
Yeah, but I'm saying she was in connection with Miss Shamima Begum. That's what I'm saying. That woman was Shamima Begum. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it says, yeah.
No, it doesn't say Shamima Begum.
Because her last name's Begum as well. Yeah. Okay.
So without offering further explanation, Miss this Begum, what's her name? But this one, far out. Too many Begums. What's this woman's name? Ruby Begum. Ruby. Just remember Ruby, yeah. So without Miss Ruby Begum wrote around this time that her own passport was confiscated for a month because she might have also been a flight risk to Syria. She also probably wanted to be ISIS bride. Miss Begum ran a Twitter account under the name Ruby Bees. BZB from 2012. Most of her anti-Semitic comments were made in 2014 when Israel attacked the Palestinian militant group Hamas in the Gaza Strip. She tweeted, "Dirty Zionists, Jahannam, hell is waiting. In another, she said, Israel have no limits, scumbags." There's no suggestion that Ms. Begum tried to join IS or go to Syria. And, well, it might have been. That's why they confiscated her passport for a month. And some of her tweets indicate she was appalled by the group's behavior. BS. Yeah, maybe. Maybe she had a change of heart. But anyway, so it took them, 3 years to suspend her. And now they've only suspended her. Mind you, it doesn't say suspended without pay. I think this is if I was a cop, I would love to be suspended because this is like a paid annual leave. Don't they say suspended? They really have to add.
Not like paid annual leave.
It is. They're suspended because they have to say suspended without pay. It means if it doesn't say suspended without pay, then it means she's being paid.
You don't want a suspension as an officer or as a public duty officer of any kind. But okay. But listen, can we just talk about the most problematic aspects of that article? Sure. Because there's quite a lot. So first of all, the actual time it took the Met Police to take action. So yeah, first of all, the amount of time it took the Met Police to act is obviously abysmal in itself. But for me, I've started getting messages on Twitter from Muslim women who have been calling me kuffar as well. And honestly, I didn't know it would hurt this bad, even being like an ex-Muslim, right? But I know the connotations associated with that word. And as you said, it's more like scumbag, dirty, and far from the truth, like misguided, just a child of the devil kind of thing. So it's such a slur. But this woman has actually, I don't know what level of cognitive dissonance is at play here, because the very people she calls kuffar, that is like the squad team that she's joined and applied to be part of. So okay, that's weird in itself. So you're hanging around with kuffar all day fighting crime. With the very people that you think are going to burn in hell. That's fine. But every single thing she is doing in her personal life or through Twitter or whatever is so very much in line with like Salafi Islam or the Salafist interpretation of Islam, and how she's fulfilling all of her commandments. She wears hijab. I mean, except for working with men, she shouldn't be doing that. But she wears hijab. Well, she's furthering the cause of jihad as well. She is in communication and facilitating communication between other British citizens who are leaving the country, usually at the age where they're not even considered an adult legally yet. So they're leaving at 16 or 17, taking a one-way flight to Syria. They're going to end up as a child bride of a jihadi who's going to try and put at least 4 babies in them. They might have many miscarriages along the way. We saw that with Shamima Begum. She was pregnant about 4 times. One of her children died in the camp. It was such a mess, and yet she still vouched for everything she did. You saw no remorse on her face, because there are people who are infiltrating our society, who are in our police force, who are actually behind all of this. And that's dangerous. As our society, we don't have enough checks and balances in place. We've got Prevent as an organization. But how are we going to start tackling these radicals who are sitting upstairs in their box rooms communicating with these imams from all across the UK when the police officer, when you dial 999, is one of them? That's absolutely ridiculous. There needs to be more. I don't know, the left needs to wake up as well and stop trying to, like, what that article that you previously showed about a hijabi woman fighting anti-lockdown protests, it's such a non-article. What an actual non-article to print. Like, why do you feel the need to bend over backwards for these people? And then you don't understand the way that they are actually perpetuating hate against, actual like violence as well. It's not just hate, it's actual violence when you think the people around you are dirt and scum. And that's a mentality that you're like perpetuating. And then you're encouraging fellow young girls from, the same ethnicity as you, or from your close circle, or from your local mosque, to go out and do what you don't want to do because you want to stay here in the UK and get your nice little cushy job and live it out. It's manic. But yeah, the most dangerous thing is, what I wanted to end on was that this woman, as crazy as it sounds, what she's doing and the opinions that she holds is all sanctioned by Islam. She is being a very, very good Muslim woman.
Yeah, but as I said, that's usually because the far left has a very egalitarian kind of a worldview. They believe all people are equal, all cultures are equal, etc., etc. But they go so far that they start ignoring the bad ideas that come from those cultures, which includes women's segregation, which includes misogyny that is ingrained and built in Islam, etc. So they go, oh, they came up with this ridiculous chant, Prophet Muhammad was the first feminist, or hijab empowers women, blah blah blah. But when you take the first layer off, then you look at it and you see, well, that's what it is. The more Islamic one behaves, the more filthy values you're going to find out. I'm sorry, it might seem a very overly simplified, but on most part, you'll actually find that statement to be true. If someone is wearing hijab or burqa or something, deep down inside, with women who don't wear these hijabs or burqas, let's say Western women or bikini-clad women at beaches, or girls wearing skirts in nightclubs, etc. They, deep down, they might not say it, but if you ask them, they would say, yeah, these women are sluts, these women are whores, these are
it's like that meme. Always remember that meme when the two women are on the beach, one's in a bikini and one's in a burqa, and the burqa woman points over to the woman in the bikini saying, "You're going to hell, bitch." Oops, I shouldn't swear. Yeah. You're going to hell. And then the bikini woman says back to her, "You're already there."
That's right.
That's the case for most women in Afghanistan and Iran and all these countries where you don't have a choice, Saudi Arabia, they are already there. The few Muslim women who have it genuinely as a choice here in the UK or in America, New Zealand, wherever they're chilling, that's literally the exception to the rule. We need to remember that.
If you like these videos and want to support me in my activism, then you can support me on Patreon or PayPal. Stay free, everyone.